Picture this, a man sitting in a German gym, casually chain smoking cigarettes, while demolishing 7,000 calories of clean food daily. This isn't some fictional character from a movie. This was Markus Rühl, the most controversial mass monster bodybuilding has ever seen. While everyone else was obsessing over perfect nutrition timing and avoiding every unhealthy habit, Markus was literally smoking his way to becoming the biggest, most feared competitor on any stage. What he did with food alone broke every rule in the book, and somehow turned him into a living, breathing mountain of muscle that even Ronnie Coleman had to respect. The story starts with pure irony. At 18 years old, Markus Rühl was nothing more than a skinny soccer player weighing just 120 pounds, dreaming of making it to the professional leagues in Germany. His entire world revolved around that soccer ball, and bodybuilding wasn't even a thought in his mind. He was just another lanky teenager with big athletic dreams, hoping his soccer skills would take him to the professional level. Then fate stepped in with a devastating knee injury that completely destroyed his future on the field. The damage was so severe that his doctor told him his soccer career was over before it even began. But here's where the story gets interesting. His doctor recommended hitting the gym to rebuild his leg strength, just some light rehabilitation work to help him walk normally again. Nobody, including Markus himself, could have predicted what would happen next. That single recommendation would accidentally create one of the most extreme transformations bodybuilding has ever witnessed. Within just 6 days of stepping into that German gym, Markus was completely addicted to the feeling of lifting weights and watching his body change. Within 4 years, something absolutely insane happened. The same skinny kid who could barely fill out a soccer jersey had morphed into a 242-pound muscle monster. But this wasn't just normal weight gain. This was a complete biological transformation that defied every expectation. Markus didn't just put on size. He exploded into a completely different human being. By the time he hit his competitive peak, he was carrying 330 pounds of muscle on his 5 feet 10 inches frame, making him one of the most massive competitors to ever step on stage. His shoulders alone became the stuff of legend, growing so freakishly wide that people said they looked like they belonged on a comic book character rather than a real human being. Some claimed he had one of the most impressive sets of shoulders ever seen in bodybuilding. And even more shocking, they were bigger and more developed than Ronnie Coleman's. Think about that for a second. Bigger shoulders than the greatest bodybuilder of all time. The transformation was so extreme that people started questioning if it was even humanly possible without some kind of genetic mutation. But here's where things get truly controversial. Markus achieved this impossible size while maintaining eating habits that would make nutritionists lose their minds. We're talking about a man who consumed 7,000 calories every single day, but not just any calories. Every single bite was clean food: rice, chicken, potatoes, vegetables, no junk whatsoever. The discipline required to eat that much clean food daily is already insane enough, but Markus took it to another level entirely. He was literally chain-smoking cigarettes between meals, sometimes even while eating. Imagine watching someone demolish massive bowls of rice and chicken while puffing on cigarettes like it was the most natural thing in the world. The contradiction was mind-blowing. Here was a guy treating his body like both a temple and a demolition site simultaneously. What makes this even more unbelievable is that he consumed around 650 grams of carbs and 500 grams of protein daily. To put that in perspective, most professional bodybuilders struggle to hit 300 grams of protein, and here's Markus casually eating almost double that while smoking like a chimney. The off-season Markus was something else entirely. At his peak weight of around 330 pounds, he looked like a walking experiment in human extremes. His gut was completely blown out from the sheer volume of food and the lifestyle demands. His face stayed red and puffy constantly, and he was always sweating like crazy, even when just sitting still. Videos from that era show him looking absolutely massive, but definitely not healthy. He admitted it himself. He wasn't doing this to be healthy. He was doing it to get as freakishly big as humanly possible. The man was a walking contradiction, smoking cigarettes while preaching about the importance of clean eating, maintaining a physique that intimidated everyone while clearly putting massive stress on his body. Then came 2004, and one of the most controversial decisions in Mr. Olympia history. Markus stepped on stage at around 280 pounds in competition shape, bringing a level of mass that was absolutely mind-blowing. Fans watching couldn't believe their eyes. Here was a man who looked bigger than everyone else, including the reigning champion, Ronnie Coleman. But when the results were announced, Marcus placed fifth. The bodybuilding community exploded with outrage that still burns today. How could the judges tell the biggest mass monster on stage that he wasn't big enough? Social media wasn't what it is today, but bodybuilding forums went absolutely insane with fans arguing that Marcus was robbed of what should have been his Olympia victory. Even now, decades later, people look at photos from that contest and question how such freaky size could be placed so low. What makes it even more controversial is that this was supposedly Marcus's peak condition. Some say it was one of the freakiest and best bodybuilding physiques of all time. Yet somehow, the judges didn't see it that way. The controversy gave birth to his legendary nickname, the German Nightmare, because seeing him on stage was every competitor's worst nightmare. What most people don't know is how close Marcus came to paying the ultimate price for his extreme lifestyle. Death rumors started circulating in the early 2000s, fueled by his obviously unhealthy off-season appearance and his notorious habits. People genuinely thought his combination of extreme eating, smoking, and the obvious steroid use might actually end his life. The rumors got so bad that he had to address them publicly multiple times. His blown-out gut and constantly red, sweating appearance didn't help matters. Behind the scenes, those close to him were reportedly worried about his health, but Marcus seemed determined to push his body to absolute extremes regardless of the consequences. The man was literally willing to risk everything for the sake of becoming the biggest human being possible. But here's what separated Marcus from every other mass monster. His training philosophy was equally extreme. His motto was simple: I don't do this to be healthy. I do this to get big muscles. While other bodybuilders talked about balance and longevity, Marcus was purely focused on maximum size at any cost. His workouts lasted over 2 hours, with some sessions reportedly going even longer. He trained each muscle group with 5 to 6 sets per exercise, often hitting the 8 to 12 rep range before moving into drop sets and forced reps that would break most people. His approach to shoulder training alone was legendary, starting with 30 rep warm-ups, then blasting through 6 heavy sets with progressively heavier weights. The German Nightmare didn't believe in fancy training methods or new age fitness trends. He stuck to the basics: heavy compound movements like squats, deadlifts, and bench presses that allowed him to pack on maximum mass. His philosophy was that the most productive exercises are simple and compound, and he lived by that principle throughout his entire career. Fast forward to today, and the Marcus Rühl story gets even more incredible. At 51 years old, the man is still carrying more muscle mass than most professional bodybuilders in their prime. Recent photos and videos show him maintaining a physique that would be impressive for someone half his age. He's married to his wife Simone, runs his own supplement company called Rühl's Bestes, and seems to have found a balance that eluded him during his competitive years. The death rumors that once plagued him have been completely put to rest, but perhaps most shocking of all, he's proven that his freaky genetics and extreme approach actually worked in the long run. While other mass monsters from his era have faded, dealt with serious health issues, or even passed away, Marcus remains a living testament to just how far the human body can be pushed when you combine insane genetics with an absolutely ruthless approach to eating and training. His legacy isn't just about the size he achieved, it's about showing the world that sometimes the most extreme approaches, no matter how controversial, can actually work if you have the right genetic foundation and the mental toughness to see it through. The man who once said, "I'm called the German Nightmare because I scare the hell out of you," has evolved into something even more impressive. A bodybuilding legend who proved that breaking every conventional rule can sometimes lead to greatness. His story continues to inspire mass monsters worldwide, and at 51, he's still living proof that when you build true muscle mass, it doesn't just disappear. Marcus Rühl didn't just build a physique. He built a legacy that will terrify and inspire bodybuilders for generations to come.